Joe Menard.
Here.
Melissa Otto. Melissa Goodluck.
Here.
Michelle Otto.
Yeah.
Ray Gibbons present. And Lloyd Johnson is out sick tonight. So, ask everyone to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all. I think I missed one. All right. When you're ready to move forward, request for the oath of office. I, Greg Gibbons, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Mayor of the City of Montrose, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
I need to sign it.
I, Melissa Goodwine, do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of council member of the City of Montrose, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability, so help me God. All right. I, Jelaine Menard, do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of council member of the City of Montrose, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability, so help me God.
any changes to the agenda? Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as listed?
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
I will second that.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
And Jill?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Is there a motion for approval of the consent of the agenda?
I have a question on the accounts payable.
Okay?
Can we move that to new business for later discussion? You can talk about it now. Yeah, I know, but it's questioning emergency management. He's gonna discuss stuff later. So I'm gonna wait to talk to him about. Let's move him up.
So you want to remove the accounts payable from the consent agenda?
Yes, please.
We'll move that to do it just prior to new business, if that works. Would that change the motion to approve the consent agenda?
You can approve the consent agenda with the removal of the,
You can do
Okay.
the else.
I'll make a motion then to approve the consent agenda, moving the accounts payable for later discussion.
is it the December 31st accounts payable, that's the only one here?
December 31st and the January 12th.
Do a second.
I'll second that.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. I'll call for the Wright County Sheriff's Department report.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think there's.
Anyone here for that? Okay, move to reports and recommendations for the city departments, consultants, commissions, and committees. City Council monthly activity report.
I did not attend the Montrose Days Committee meeting, but I do have a quick note from them.
Okay,
They have two events coming up. They will have their annual fish fry on February 27th, and that is, the price is 8 to 11 and up, or $8 to $10 at the door. Children ages 4 to 10 are $5 or $7 at the door. 3 and under are free. The Montrose Royal Ambassadors will also be selling Royal Sundays for an additional cost of that. And then they also have scheduled on March 20th a family fun night with more information to come on that.
and I also know that they will be soliciting support from the other volunteer organizations to assist with the fish fry. And all you in the audience. Jill, any reports?
I have nothing to report.
Anyone else? Michelle?
I attended Board and Rec meeting last week. We, that'll come up later, I believe, discussion, appointing a new member. We also discussed getting the organizations together on like a quarterly basis, a member from each organization, so that we know when Montrose Days has their fish fries or the Lions have their pancake breakfast. Kind of just get somebody from, just get together quarterly, discuss what's coming up, see if people need volunteers, need help, whatever, just to kind of help build the community up. That's what I'll be discussing.
Hey, you want to bring a motion for that later?
Yeah.
Okay. I attended the quarterly mayor's meeting. got to meet most of the mayors who attended. Also met with the Wright County Commissioner, who advised that there were some changes that affect the city. We will no longer be footing the entire bill for county roads that flow through the city. It'll be on a 50-50 basis. That's a move going forward, so that was good. I also attended the VFW December meeting. Nothing to report to the council in reference to that, other than the fact that they are actively seeking new membership. So if there's anyone who knows any veterans who would like to attend, that would be good for them to provide that information so that they can solicit them for membership. And I also attended the fire department meeting, and I assume we'll have a report from the fire department later, and I won't go into all of that, but it was actually to be able to have my first meeting with the fire department, and I know that we're going to have some issues there. I'm glad to see that we have the new fire chief with us in full uniform as well tonight, so that's fantastic. So we'll hear from them later, and then we'll also hear from the fire department as far as emergency operations later this evening as well.
Mr. Mayor, I have one thing to bring up as long as we're talking about council. In the past, for the past few years, we've been paying the council on a monthly basis based on the meetings they've attended. Now that we're going to be paying just a flat monthly rate, is it okay to go to a quarterly basis? Would that be okay with all the council members to do it on a quarterly basis rather than monthly?
Discussion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to do city council payroll quarterly instead of monthly.
I'll second that.
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries 4-0. We need to pay the city council quarterly as opposed to monthly.
Thank you.
Administration.
The first item I have is the bank account signatures. In the packet, I have got a memo with change in council administration, new bank signature cards must be done. All checks written require 2 signatures. Generally, we have 3 people, council and staff, that can sign checks. Approval is also needed to make the deposits and transfers within the accounts. The mayor and staff are recommending that approval be given for Greg Yeomans, Melissa Goodbargen, John Derrickson, Wendy Manson to maintain the accounts at Citizen State Bank of Waverly / Montrose, that Greg, Melissa, and Sean are the check signers. So action needed is a motion to approve the 4 to maintain the accounts at Citizen State Bank, and for Greg, Melissa, and Sean to be the signatories for the checks.
I'll make a motion to approve Greg, Melissa, and Sean as signers for checks, and Greg, Melissa, Wendy, and Sean to be accountants at the bank.
Second.
I'll second that.
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries 4-0.
Second item on the agenda is the resolution 2015-01. It's just housekeeping. We do this every year. It's accepting donations that have been made to the city. Montrose Lions, the donation for 1775 is for Montrose Days. Their donations go through the city and we give it back out to Montrose Days. The other, Wells Fargo, is for the fire department. That's something that comes, I think, out of people's paychecks. I'm not sure. And then the other 3 are for National Night Out, from 2014's National Night Out. So I just need approval of that resolution.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2015-01, accepting all the donations.
I'll second that.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Ordinance.
Ordinance number 2015-02. A while ago, there was a motion made to go to 2 council meetings a month. Since, I think in 2014, there was only 2 or 3 times that we even had 2 council meetings. The rest of the time, they were all canceled because there was no business to conduct. It's easier to go back to the ordinance stating one meeting, and if we need to have a meeting, we can call a special meeting. Because with the ordinance stating that there's 2 meetings a month, we have to make sure it gets canceled every month. So it's easier to do it going back to one meeting and just posting a special meeting if needed. So if you're in agreement of doing that.
Discussion? Is there a motion?
I can make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2015-02 to move council meetings to 1 day per month instead of 2. Second.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Aye.
Michelle?
The next item is EDA quarterly meetings. EDA meetings were held monthly on the same night as council meetings, and I believe in 2014, they started going to quarterly meetings, and would like to have the council just approve that schedule to do quarterly meetings. Then there again, we don't have to keep posting it all the time if it's a regularly scheduled quarterly meeting. So they actually they're held the third Tuesday of January, April, July, and October at 6 o'clock at City Hall.
Discussion? Thanks for coming, guys. Motion?
I will make a motion to have the EDA continue to meet quarterly instead of monthly on the third Tuesday of January, April, July, and October.
Jill, second. I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
And Michelle?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
What's the date then? I don't know the calendar.
The third Tuesday, so.
I think it's the 21st.
All right, thank you. That's next week.
And all council members, yes, we have to vote today, all council members are EDA members.
Okay, 2015-06.
This is another housekeeping item that we do at the end of each year. It is to amend the 2014 budget. The budget is set, as you all know, we do a preliminary budget in August and a final budget in December, and throughout the year, we need to, there's times where we need to make amendments. And that is exactly what this is for, to amend the 2014 budget, to bring it back in line. I don't know if anybody has any questions on it. It's pretty straightforward.
Any discussion in reference to that? Motion?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2015-06.
Second?
I'll second that.
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries 4-0. And that brings us to Andy with the Comcast franchise extension.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I drafted a memo in your packet about this item. I don't really have anything to add besides that memo, but basically, for the benefit of the public, the Comcast corporate structure, as far as I understand it, is totally changing, and they're undergoing a large situation where they might have a spin-off company come in here to the area. I'm not sure if that's all of Minnesota or portions thereof, and take over Comcast operations. And I certainly don't know the ins and outs of why they're doing that, but what I do know is that it required an extension to your franchise with Comcast because that was expiring December 31st. So Comcast itself sent this franchise extension that you have on page 38. Just a very simple thing where we're going to punt until June 30th, and then hopefully by then they'll have their corporate structure figured out, and we can adopt more of a longer-term franchise, which is what you would normally do. And so this is just to kind of keep the status quo until that time. It'd be a simple motion in a second to no resolution with it. You can sign the extension.
And part of that will be continuing to negotiate with them as to that.
Yeah, and I've been in some contact with the representatives of Comcast for this area, and they were pretty tight-lipped because of all these other changes that were above, their situation. So that hopefully we'll get something moving, or else there might be another short-term extension as of July 1st, who knows? But it's kind of out of our hands, so we'll extend it.
So is there a motion to approve the franchise extension for Comcast?
I'll make a motion to approve the extension for Comcast.
I'll second.
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries 4-0. That brings us to the Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, enclosed in your packet under item D1 are a copy of the draft minutes from the December 17th Planning Commission meeting. And those minutes kind of highlight a couple of the topics that we will be taking action on this evening. If there's any questions on the minutes, I'm happy to respond to those.
We need a motion to approve those minutes.
No, just for your information.
And then Resolution 2015-03, a Dollar General site plan.
Members of the council, this evening we are taking action on a request from Dollar General, the Imperial Development Company, to approve a site plan, a parking lot plan, lighting, landscaping plan for a new Dollar General store that is proposed to be constructed at 631 Nelson Boulevard. This is the site of the current or former Lee Register Hoff facility. And they are looking at construction on a 1.74 acre parcel. And I believe we have a site plan that will be put up on the screen, and it has. The Planning Commission met on December 17th and reviewed the plans as they relate to the zoning ordinance. And if you recall, last month in December, on the 8th, the City Council approved 3 variances for this site. The first was for a rear yard setback of 10 feet. The second was for a setback from the front parking lot of 4 feet rather than 10 feet. And the third was a driveway width on the west side of that property to be 36 feet wide rather than 24. The Planning Commission reviewed the zoning, and it meets all the minimum lot area, width, front setback, rear setback, side setbacks, building height restrictions, as well as impervious surface, given those variances. Also reviewed the site plan as it relates to off-street parking. 46 parking spaces are required and provided on the site plan. Landscaping, there is proposed to be a buffer on the northwest side of the property between the residential property to the north and the proposed parking lot of this facility. That will include 14 Canadian hemlock evergreen trees and a 6-foot-high wooden fence. Also on the site, additional landscaping will be 10 sugar maples and 30 dwarf shrubs. Looking at the building facade requirements, they are proposing a facility with ephes on the pre-finished metal. And the color is going to be a cool Egyptian white redstone, so it's going to be very natural colors along with brown steel roof. No new sidewalks are proposed. Along Highway 12, there's a sidewalk already in existence. Justin Knass is here as a city engineer, and he reviewed the plans prior to going to the Planning Commission and had items which were addressed by Dollar General and corrected within the plans, so it's all engineering requirements. The fire department also reviewed the plans. They are requesting a fire lockbox be placed on the facility on completion, and all other requirements have been met. There was a note within the packet regarding the sprinkler system, but that is not required for the size of a commercial facility. It appears that the signage and the lighting also meet code requirements, and as a result, the Planning Commission is recommending conditional approval of the site plan, and enclosed in your packet on pages 73 and 74 is a resolution. And the conditions that are noted include approval conditioned upon the fire lockbox, that the front pylon sign be set back at least 15 feet or half of the front yard structure setback. MnDOT did submit a letter, and we're recommending that the conditions by MnDOT be met as a condition of approval. That the hours of operation for the lighting of the parking lot be turned off 1 hour after closing, except for the security lighting. That the evergreens be planted not more than 15 feet apart, and in accordance with our landscape ordinance, and that the building permit be issued prior to construction of beginning of construction.
Discussion? Well, Joanne, was there a concern with reference to the fire department for the evergreens that were behind the building?
I think those were addressed.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're fine.
that they'd be okay, all right, good. Any other discussion? Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2015-03, conditional approving Dollar General site plan.
I'll second that.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to approve resolution 2015-03 approving site building plan for the Dollar General site. We move on to 2015-04, approval for off-site parking at Millhausen Auto.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, enclosed in your packet on pages 75 through 87 is information on a request for a conditional use permit to allow off-site parking. This is for Millhausen Auto. The business is currently located at 411 Nelson Boulevard, and they have been growing in a successful company, and as a result, they have a need to be able to park additional employee or customer vehicles. And the City Code, Chapter 1019-8, allows for off-site parking, provided that is within 500 feet of the primary use. It's under similar ownership, and that the parking lot is constructed in conformance with your code. The Millhausens are requesting their off-site parking take place at 350 Emerson Avenue, which is the location of the car wash and storage. I believe we have a site plan that illustrates the proposed parking lot. In order to approve this, we need to meet the conditions for that off-street parking as well as the criteria for a conditional use permit, and then the general performance standards. Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on this on December 19th, and the recommendation is for conditional approval. And the conditions are noted on page 86 and 87 of your packet. The first condition is that the parking lot be subject to engineer review and approval and paved within 6 months of approval. And with that, we do require the next one, elevations illustrating the proposed parking lot design to ensure that stormwater drainage is going to the north to an existing pond rather than draining to the south property and impacting them negatively. So that is one additional illustration that we will need. And I don't know, Travis and Lisa, if you have any comments on that, but that's also a suggested condition. Third is that the parking lot be limited to employee and customer parking and no automobile sales occur on that lot. Fourth, a perimeter curb be provided along the south perimeter of the parking lot per our chapter requirements. The applicants have asked if that could be waived as there are no other perimeter curbs on that lot. And Justin, feel free to jump in, but I believe staff is okay with that as long as the illustrations on the parking lot plan and elevation show that it can be drained to the north.
Right, that would be my concern, is that we can still drain to the north. I know that's a tight spot for drainage in that little corner.
There's an existing low spot according to their survey on that southerly side. That's why I'm concerned about more drainage going to the south with more impervious. So that's my concern and my requirement for making sure we have the elevation so we know it's not going to impact the neighbors in the south.
The other concern is high in the middle where the wash building is.
Yeah. So I don't know if it can be done or not. that would be up to their engineer to look at and review.
Any
And
further
fifth,
discussion?
the fifth condition would be that the maximum impervious surface for the lot is 75% or less. There were calculations provided, so I just want to ensure they're proposing 14 parking spaces. If that puts them over, we reduce the number of spaces to make sure that we're meeting that maximum impervious surface calculation. Also conditioned upon the lot being purchased by Travis and Lisa Milhausen, so the two lots are under joint or the same ownership. And I believe that that is their intent, provided that this is approved, and that they maintain ownership of both parcels until either another site closer is identified or they no longer need that parking. And then finally, that they comply with any federal, state, or county or local regulations as documented by the city.
Further discussion? Travis and Lisa, anything you want to say? Is there a motion to approve?
And just to clarify, Mr. Mayor, that would be, would you be modifying number 4 to remove the requirement for perimeter curb unless shown that stormwater cannot be diverted?
As long as we can drain to the north on that, is there any other concern as far as that, is everyone okay with removal of the curbing requirement? As long as we can drain to the north on that and not, pour water into that corner, then we're okay with not having that. It's consistent with other properties there. So we would offer a variance for that. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2015-04 with the removal of item number 4, as long as there's drainage continues to be drainage to the north for Milhausen site parking. I'll second that.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the resolution 2015-04 conditional use permit for off-site parking for Milhausen Auto, with the exception of number 4 being amended to read there's not a requirement for curbside curbing or on the parking lot, provided it can be drained to the north and not impact a problem for that drainage area.
Thank you.
Okay. Engineer report.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I have no specific items other than welcome aboard to the new council members, and I'm happy to help in any way needed.
It's nice to have no specific items. Public Works. John, what do you got for us?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. I got 3 items before you tonight. First one being Resolution 2015-08, asking the council to consider increasing stormwater rates. Things that are budgeted for this year. Let me back up a bit. Things that were done in the operation fund of the stormwater funds exceeded funding requirements. We had to dip into cash balances to make the projects work. And there again, the same thing's going to happen for 2015, unless we do a rate increase to justify or offset expenses. And we're asking for the council to approve this resolution to keep the operational fund solid.
And this was cost neutral to the payer based on a reduction of 50 cents, and that was passed in December. Am I correct on that?
That is correct.
Garbage rates went down.
Garbage rates went down 50 cents, this will go up 50 cents, because we can't borrow from those accounts to pay, we can't rob Peter to pay Paul on those accounts.
Correct.
Any discussion? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2015-08.
increasing storm sewer rates from 354.
Second.
I'll second.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Second item on the list tonight is ordinance 2015-01. It regards amending the city ordinance, chapter 30, paragraph 06C1, water rates. In the state of Minnesota, there's been a lengthy debate in the state level over water conservation rates for almost 10 years now. And back in 2008, legislation had approved that any municipal water supplier that supplies over 1,000 people adopt water conservation rates. And they were met with great opposition from municipalities throughout the state. So they put it off until 2013. Well, in 2012, we adopted a water conservation rate in preparing for implementation January 1st of 2013 at the tier rate stated in the ordinance. And once we approved that, we received notification that they were backing off again in 2013. So we kind of just kept that in our back pocket, decided not to implement it until the state required it. Well, the time has come, actually the time has passed. They decided to approve this effective January 1st of 2015. And as I was reviewing the ordinance, I decided that we could probably get by with a lesser tier rate increase than what was proposed in 2012 and still meet state mandated requirements. They're really urging conservation in the state. This will only apply to residential customers. It will not apply to commercial. And the enforcement action, if we were not to implement this, would be that we would not be able to drill a new well within the city, state approval, or amend our water appropriations permit, which means, without getting too technical, the state allows us only to withdraw so many gallons of water per year. And if we were to go over that, we would pay a hefty fine on top of not allowing us to increase the volume. So the resolution 2015-01 is asking to amend the ordinance to go from 25% tier rate increases to 10%. And we're asking for approval of that tonight.
Discussion? Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2015-01, lowering the tier rates from 25% to 10%.
Second that?
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries 4-0 to adopt resolution or ordinance 2015-01.
Then, Mr. Mayor, Council, item number 3 is a resolution adopting the 10% increase over the 25. Housekeeping.
Discussion? Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to
to approve resolution 2015-02, amending the Montrose City Code from 25% to 10% tier rate.
Second.
I'll second that.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Just kind of a little update on what's going on in the fire department, more so than anything here tonight. Introduction of the officers that were selected for this year. The assistant chief is Matt Menard. He's got 7 years on the department, 2 years as a captain, 1 year as an assistant chief. Mike Marketing is going to serve as a captain. He's got 30 years on the department and 15 years as the past fire chief. Craig Otto, who was a captain this previous year, he's got 5 years of service, and Tom Wynick is a captain this year, and he's got 7 years of experience as a firefighter with the department. The next item on the agenda is purchase of new helmets. I'm requesting authorization to purchase 30 new fire helmets out of our capital improvement budget. We're meeting with the vendor on tomorrow, and we're going to look at either getting the same helmets that we have now or a new upgraded version of it. With the purchase of new helmets, it'll bring all firefighters' personal protective gear up to the current NFPA standards. Basically what that entails is every 10 years, every part of our garment has to be retired. Over the past 3 years, we've worked to replace our bunker coats and bunker pants, so currently everybody that's not on probation has new gear, minus the helmet. So getting the helmets will put us into full compliance with that NFPA standard. So that's what I'm looking for tonight as far as that goes.
Is there a motion to approve purchase of new helmets for the fire department?
What's the cost of it?
Approximate cost with the 2 quotes that I have right now is a little under $10,000.
I'll make a motion to have the fire department purchase new helmets, 30 helmets with under roughly $10,000.
I'll second that.
All right. Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to purchase new helmets. The cost expected to be approximately $10,000 for the helmets.
Okay. Next item is purchase of 2 pair of new boots. 2 of our firefighters got missed or skipped when we purchased new boots for everybody. So I'm just looking for authorization to purchase 2 pairs of new boots, same kind that we currently have through MES. And the cost of that is $329 each for a total of $658 plus shipping.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 pairs of boots.
Second.
I'll second.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next item is iPad versus a cell phone for the fire chief. This is a new item that we are going to purchase more so as an informational thing here for you guys. I just received the iPad today, working on getting it set up and stuff. Most current cell phone plans, as most of you know, have unlimited phone and text. When we first got a cell phone, that wasn't the case. You only had 700 minutes on your personal phone and stuff like that. This will also cause us to utilize our office phone and voicemail for public use more effectively, which we're already paying for, so it's basically sitting there not getting used. This will allow us to use that more effectively. The iPad will be utilized for pre-plans, inspections, scene information, note-taking, and photographs. Possible future idea is to install some iPads into our first out trucks for GPS, kind of use it as a CAD system, breakdown CAD system. The difference between using an iPad and a computer, the Toughbook computers, which you see in squad cars commonly, costs approximately $9,000 to get set up, get the software running, get connected to the county. With the iPad, the cost of the iPad plus the $10 subscription to our active 911, it's significantly cheaper. It'll allow for more effective use of email and written communications to staff, to the city council, to whoever needs to be in the know. And on a personal level, I just don't want to have to carry 3 cell phones. I have one for work already, I have my personal one, and I don't really want a third one. So that's just kind of a information thing at this point, working on getting things set up, kind of using it as a trial period right now as well. I am getting rid of the fire department cell phone. That cost was approximately $52 per month for unlimited phone, text, and data. The cost of the iPad is $40 per month for unlimited data. So a little bit of cost saving as well. Any questions?
Motion to approve the iPad?
No.
Already got it?
No, don't need the
Don't need the motion?
don't need the motion on that one. So.
Can I run that then?
The next item, transition into new role. As most of you know, I've taken over as fire chief effective the 1st of January here. So far, we're progressing nicely at this time. I believe I have a very solid core of officers that are working under me, as well as a very solid group of firefighters who support me and support the mission of the fire department. My hope is by the February council meeting to have you a 2014 year-end report published in the minutes so that you can see our activities through 2014. Also, as time allows here, I'll be again to include basically a memo style into your meeting packets that gives you an update monthly, how many calls we have, what kind of trainings we have, anything major. I just haven't had time to get it here for this meeting, so.
If possible, can we include in that the EOC updates as well? If Matt can give you an input for that as well, to his emergency operations update, if that's possible.
Yep, I will work closely with Matt in getting anything he needs put into that section as well. As you know, the fire department and emergency management are separate, but we work next to one another, close together. Matt obviously is my assistant chief as well, so we have pretty good lines of communication and stuff. So also with the transition here, I'm just kind of working right now with the firefighters, the officers, and everybody to establish my goals, vision, and ideas for 2015. I'll hope to have that to you also in February in my update as far as that goes. Just trying to figure out where we want to go and stuff. I know one of the things is more professionalism, more transparency, better use of technology, and the like item things. So, but we're establishing more official ones here as we go. Item 6 on there is the comprehensive review of policies and guidelines. I'm trying to think last time that our policies were gone through an update was 2009 when they were totally gone through. I'm going to hope to kind of split our policies into 2 sections. One dealing with anything that I would need to bring to you to get approval on, wages, anything budgetary, personnel hiring, firing, discipline, stuff like that. And then the rest of it, stuff that just is day-to-day operations, radio use, facial hair, stuff like that, that I don't necessarily need to come to you for approval to make a change. So that's kind of where I'm working on right now. I'm going to be looking for the council's help through that process, our council liaison person, as well as the council as a whole as we get going, and also probably the help of our legal team with the city as well. So,
As much as possible, I'd like to keep the housekeeping SOP, officer standard operating procedure things, in-house in the fire department. And if they're requiring a policy or a approval by the council, and Andy, if we could get some input on that, those things that may need to come to the council, and keep that as limited as possible. I'd like to see them run their own house as much as possible.
So that's something that we're working on as far as that goes. So I'll continue to work on that and continue to give updates as we move forward. 2 other items, just real quick. One of them is included later on in the acknowledgements. I'd like to acknowledge Jason Chafins for his 3.5 years as fire chief for the Montrose Fire Department. He just stepped down December 31st. He is still on the department, and and still active as far as that goes. But I'd like to acknowledge him for his years of service and the time that he spent mentoring me into this position.
And he has, I think, 15 years of service with the fire department, if I'm not mistaken.
18, I believe.
18?
Yep, I think it's somewhere in between there, so. Another acknowledgement that didn't get into the meeting minutes, I'd like to acknowledge Willie Bauerschmidt, he's a firefighter for us, for his 20-plus years of service as our Relief Association president. He was not selected to serve as president again this year, however, he will be serving as a trustee, so I'd just like to acknowledge him for his 20 years of service as the president as well. And that's all that I have.
Kevin, how many slots do you have open now? I know you put just hired 3 new people, right?
Yes, we just hired 3 new people, so that brings us to a total strength of 28 firefighters.
And there's 1 opening? Or-
The way that, we don't have a set number
Okay.
listed, and the League of Minnesota Cities actually recommends not having a set number, because if an emergency arises,
Okay.
then we have problems. We've always tried to stay at the 30 level, is kind of the number, our number goal. We've gone from anywhere from 20 up to 30 before, so
Okay.
we're sitting pretty good right now.
Super, good. Thanks for your recruitment efforts too. Thanks for being neutral, I like this 50 neutral.
Any other questions or anything else that I can address?
No, thank you, appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
I see that Wright County is in the audience here. If I could make a change to the agenda, we'll bring Wright County up and do the sheriff's report. No report? Okay, we're good. Okay, Parks and Recreation.
The Park and Rec met on January 6th. It was a pretty short meeting. A couple things, they appointed their officers. Kirk will remain the chair, Sylvia will remain the vice chair, and Jesse Lesnow will be the secretary. They are asking for council to approve the appointment of Brew Blue, which is also number 2 on your agenda. Brew applied to the Park and Recreation Commission, and they are recommending the council approve her, so we would need a motion from the council.
I'll make a motion to approve for Blue to the Park and Rec Commission.
Second?
I'll second that.
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Welcome to Parks and Rec. Most approved 4-0.
A couple other things that were mentioned, Jesse kind of does what's called nextdoor.com. It's a website for Montrose, for people in Montrose. You sign up to be on this website, I understand.
I think all the council members are on it, if I'm not mistaken.
And he's just asked that people please try to keep things positive that are going out on that website. And then the other thing we talked about was what Michelle mentioned earlier. We would like to set up a meeting of all the volunteers in the city, maybe like 1 or 2 representatives from each group, and get together and just discuss all the upcoming events and how each group can help the others. So like with Montrose Days coming up with their fish fry, who they could get to come and help them if there's lines or lionettes or Beyond Yellow Ribbon or something, and what you guys are looking for. So we were thinking maybe the first one could be held Tuesday, March 3rd, which is our regular park meeting, at 7 o'clock at City Hall. Since Park and Rec would kind of like to be part of that, we'd like to set it up. So I think Michelle and I are going to try to get together and do some kind of a letter to send out to all the organizations, asking them to please send a representative, and see if we can get a good turnout and go from there. And if it works out, see what night works the best for everybody, and meet quarterly like she had mentioned.
And if possible, if the council members can attend that as well, that'd be great. I think it's super that we're going to be able to talk. The other piece that I'd like to see on that, Wendy, if we can, is to maybe get something on the website where we can tout what our volunteers are doing and their activities that are coming up, and that would help so that we have a spot where we can see what's happening with our organizations as well.
We can do that as long as the organizations get their information to us. That's our biggest problem, is we don't get the information from the organizations. We need the organizations to please email us or send us something that says what they have going on, or even like when they change presidents or change, anybody within the organization, get contacts to us if they have a certain contact. So we're happy to put it out as long as we get the
I
information.
understand, and maybe that can go in the letter as well.
Mhm.
But, and it may be, I
And we
can
can-
stress that, because it's, that information needs to be
Yep.
waste
Yeah, we can talk about it that night at the meeting too, that way.
Absolutely.
And then we'll actually be getting, Anna and I have discussed the different things that we can make on the website.
Good.
So we have,
Fantastic.
that's a work in progress too.
Emergency operations update. You have that?
Doing all right.
Good. I'd asked Matt to give us an update on the emergency operations P7, kind of get us started on where we're at, since a lot of us are new, and I wanted to see where we're at, and we're also approving some issues for you as well that come up in our expenses report.
Perfect. Good evening, council. What we're sitting right now on our mapping of our quadrant zones. Currently, right now, I'm trying to get a hold of somebody in human services to figure out where the daycares are located within the city and what their capacity levels are going to be at or could possibly be at, so we can get that marked down in the event of an emergency. As of right now, per Steve Berger, County Emergency Manager, our emergency operation plans for the county, which we have adopted and we go under, were approved by the regional committee. Right now, they are currently waiting on county department heads to be approved and then go to the county board. And then it'll trickle down to us. He's hoping to have all of that information to us with our revised policies or our plans by the middle of February, hopefully. NIMS class, once again, we have new council members. I will get an email out to you. We can either do a class or you can do an independent study online. I will get all that information for you guys and kicked over to you. And also in regards to working on the mapping of the quadrants, I'm also working on a rapid action guide that will be accessible to whether each individual gets one. It's more or less just kind of a paper trail, just say for some reason I'm not in town. Anybody can grab it, can follow easy guidelines till Steve Berg would have to get down here and keep the ball rolling. So that's where we're at right now with emergency management.
Do you see a conflict at all, continuing to be emergency management and the assistant fire chief?
No, because I was the emergency manager last year as well, and I was an assistant chief as well. And the year before that, I was a captain of the fire department. It actually has some benefits. We do have other officers, and to be in the fire department, you don't have to be an officer to run IC of the department. We do cross-training, so they know the jobs that we do. Would I be pulled away? Yes, but I also have wonderful working knowledge of the way the fire department works. You know, it's just in that, I know this is what they're going to be doing. So, I mean, there's advantage there.
Any other questions? Matt, I'll be getting back with you as well once we get done. I want to go ahead and make sure that we get on board for training. And then the other piece that I want to look at down the road is to look at some exercises where we can.
Correct, and we
actually
did
put it
discuss
into
that.
action.
And that would be, Steve Berg would actually probably have to get in there and help us with that because it is.
I'm sure he will.
And then we can get the fire department involved, so.
In your job description that you wrote up, your time constraint says that you will attend a minimum of 4 city council meetings annually. Are you guys doing that, continue to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think he's not once, maybe twice last year.
Okay.
Okay?
Any further? Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Working together. Or do you want me to move back to 7B again? Number 1 and number 3?
Yes, please.
Okay. Reference back to items 7B, number 1 and number 3. Approval of those payments. They call them the consent agenda payments. Do you have a motion to approve?
That was me, going back to that, hold on. 16, page 16 is where it was. Page 16 was, I was, waiting to hear from Matt and confirming that we are paying him $1662.30 for his emergency management services, and just confirming that under his job description that it does say that he will attend a minimum of 4 meetings annually. So hopefully we will continue to see him. And then I just had another question on page 18. I'm sorry, page 19. The Blue Cross Blue Shield. December Cobra for $1543.80. Can you explain that?
When you go on COBRA, the employer still gets charged for the person's COBRA and they pay the city. So she has given us her payment to the city. The city has to make a payment out to the
She has made a payment, $1543.
She's actually made a
Is that
payment.
in my box?
Pardon?
Can I get a copy of that? Do you have that?
If I still have her check, it's probably not to the bank.
Or did we have a receipt?
Yeah,
Oh, that's,
I'm not sure if I received it yet or not. And she's actually made January's too, so.
okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion then to approve accounts payable.
Second? Is that Melissa or Jill?
I'll second it.
Okay. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Approval of the accounts payable.
Just so, I'm sorry. Just so you know, usually it'll be just included in the regular bill, but because when you have to take them off the insurance and then they put it back on as COBRA, and from here on it just gets put in with the regular bill, so that's why it's,
And then she
All
was
by itself.
using it.
she pays us, yeah.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Is there any old business? New business. General obligation to water and sewer revenue bond of 1998.
This bond is the US Highway 12 water and sewer revenue bond. In 1998, 97 and 98, when Highway 12 was reconstructed, the city installed new water and sewer lines in the highway. And the bond was taken out through USDA for 38 years. And the reason was, I mean, at the time, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but at the time, we only had 1,000 people in town. Our population was like 1,040 or something, 300 or 400 households. And that's what, it was spread out over the 38 years to make it affordable for the residents. The bond has now become callable. And as you can see in the information that's included on page 97, Northland Securities brought it to our attention that it is callable and asked us if we wanted to refinance it. Sean and I took a look at it. There's 3 options we have. We could continue going the way we are and pay it off over the next 20-some years. It would be paid in 2037. It would still cost us $454,351 to continue that way. Our second option would be to refinance it through Northland Security. It would cost about $12,000 for the refinancing, and it would save us about $64,750 in interest. And it would mature 3 years earlier in 2034. Or we can, since it is callable, we can prepay it. So we can redeem it and prepay it now. The principal that's remaining on the loan is $275,000. So we would pay that plus $1,028.43 in interest for the couple months or for the month of January. It would save us about $178,000 in interest. So it's, by prepaying it, it would make a lot of sense just to prepay it, pay off the bond, save the $178,000 in interest. The water fund can pay it. We can take the entire amount out of the water fund, the $276,000. And the sewer revenue, because it's a water sewer bond, it's paid half out of water revenue and half out of sewer revenue. The sewer fund can repay the water fund over the next 4 years in the amount of, I believe it's like $34,000 or something. I have to look at the resolution, but So at this time, Sean and I are strongly recommending that the council allow for the redemption and the prepayment of the GO water and sewer revenue bond of 1998. There's a resolution in here on page, I think it begins on page 98. This was prepared by Northland Securities. They have contacted USDA, so USDA does know it's callable. They are allowing for the prepayment of it. And Northland Security would take care of all of that for us. All we'd have to do is fill out a form so that they can take it out of the bank on January 29th, and the bond would be paid off.
Discussion?
The only thing I was questioning, if we pay it off now, is there going to be enough in these funds in the event that something happens?
Yes.
Yes, there is about, our water fund is actually sitting very well right now.
That was my only
So-
concern, but I
Those would
completely
be a
agree.
general fund issue as well. If I'm not mistaken, correct?
Pardon?
Those would be a general fund issue.
It won't affect the general fund, just the water and sewer
If
fund.
there were something else that came up, it would be
Correct.
a general fund issue.
Correct.
Not the water.
Right.
I think that's a great cost savings,
I agree.
especially, alternative costs.
Is there a motion to approve
The resolution 2015.
2015-07?
I will make a motion to approve resolution 2015-07.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, we make sure that we do this by the letter, being that we're dealing with the USDA. They require us to jump through the hoops appropriately, and just make sure we take our time to do it correctly.
So I make a motion to approve resolution 2015-07, which would be to pay the balance of the bond, which after interest would be $276,028.43.
I think that's it, isn't it, Sean?
I'm sorry.
You say anything else?
Anything else?
Just making the motion to approve this resolution.
Just make sure that we name it the way it's written on the resolution and for the minutes.
So right here.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the resolution number 2015-07, resolution calling for the redemption of the outstanding general obligation water and sewer revenue bond of 1998. So paying the bond in full, including what interest is due, for a total of $276,028.43.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jill, I have you as a second. Okay. Jill,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to approve resolution 2015-07, resolution calling for the redemption of the outstanding general obligation water and sewer revenue bond of 1998 and payment in full plus interest as stated, 276,028.43. Thinking everything taken care of for the, good. Resolution 2015-05.
This is the resolution authorizing, it's called an interfund loan. So the sewer revenue fund, the water revenue fund would pay the bond at this time for $276,028.43. Understanding that the sewer revenue fund's obligated to pay $138,014 of that. So the resolution would then approve us to pay it from the water revenue fund at this time and do an interfund loan from the sewer fund to the water fund of $34,504 annually for the next 4 years.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2015-05, to have the sewer fund to pay back $138,014 to the water fund over the course of the next 4 years.
Second?
I'll second.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to allow the water fund to pay the recalling of the bond, and then be repaid to the sewer fund over a 4-year period. 215-3, fees.
This is an ordinance setting our fees for the year for 2015. It's the same as last year with the exception of the sewer access charge, the water access charge, which were resolutions back in December. The sewer rate, the storm sewer rate that went down, and the garbage rate, or the storm sewer rate that went up, the garbage rate that went down. Everything else remained the same.
So that was already included as far as what we just voted tonight? Good. Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2015-03, 2015 fee schedule.
I'll second that.
I vote aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to adopt the city ordinance for fees 2015-03. Appointments. In your packets, there's appointments for positions for the council to fill. Acting mayor in my absence, I will have Melissa Goodwagen, by virtue of the fact that she is signing authority as well as is usually in town. The Board of Adjustments, I have Lloyd Johnson, myself, Corey DeWitt, Doug Boarding. The Chamber of Commerce, that is the third and fourth Thursday at noon. And I'm open to other people on that one as well. You're available on that one?
I can take that.
Okay. I have Melissa and myself as primary, but Melissa's alternate. Community Education Representative, that will continue to be Michelle. EDA will be the entire city council, Tony Kramers and John Barner. Emergency Management Liaison, myself and Matt Menard as the Emergency Management Director. Our new fire chief is on board, Kevin Triplett. Fire Liaison, myself as primary and Jill as secondary. Parks and Rec Liaison, Michelle Otto and Lloyd Johnson as secondary. Staff Coordinator Wendy Matson, Kirk Lomenker, Sylvia Henry, Rob Ernstadt, and Jesse Lesnow.
And now I can add.
And now Group Blue. Personnel Committee, myself and Jill Menard, Sean and Wendy. And that, we had that originally as being on a Tuesday. I'd like to move that to a Monday or a Friday. Is that doable at the office?
Monday would be good.
Nine o'clock, okay with everybody?
I don't like Monday morning meetings, but okay.
How about Friday at 11?
Do we need to make coffee? Is that what you're saying, Scott?
It's usually a zoo on Mondays, that's why.
Would a different day or different time be beneficial?
We'll make it work.
Want to go right after lunch? Want to do it later?
We'll make it work, and if we have to change it, we can.
Okay. I've got myself and Jill on that one. Does that work for you, Jill? Okay. Well, Mondays at 9 at the city offices.
How often are you meeting?
That was monthly, wasn't it?
No, first and third.
First and third?
Was the first and third Tuesdays?
we can continue first and third Monday, and then we'll see how it progresses from there. It may end up being monthly, depending on where we're at with that. We may need to do some more work initially as we get on board with some new systems, but after that, we may be able to put it at just one meeting a month, depending on where we're at with that. So we'll play that a little by ear. We need to make an adjustment that we can. Planning and zoning, right? Lloyd Johnson and Melissa Goodbarger on planning and zoning.
When do they meet?
Third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday at 7. So you just.
And that's here, right?
Finance committee, I have Lloyd Johnson and Melissa Goodbarger, and I'm going to add Wendy Manson to that as well. Is that good with you, Wendy?
Yeah, I'm there.
I know you are. Okay. This is, my copy's real light. That's
Yeah.
Utility Emergency Board. I have myself and Sean on that one. Do we need anyone other than that, Sean?
No, sir.
Okay. Montrose Days Committee, I'm open on that one. My short list was Melissa and Jill.
I can take that one.
Okay.
I may choose to show up at some as well.
Well, we'll put Melissa as primary and Jill as alternate. And those are typically on a Sunday,
It's the first Sunday?
first Sunday of the month typically.
Second Sunday.
YCAT, and those are Tuesdays at 2 p.m. I have Lloyd Johnson, I talked with him, he says he's okay with that as a primary, and Michelle, you said you were available Tuesday as well, if need be as an alternate.
Sure.
Okay, for the YCAT. Those are held Tuesdays at 2 p.m., and Wendy has the dates on those, if I'm not mistaken.
Give it to Michelle.
Okay.
Buffalo, right?
It's at Buffalo at City Hall, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Our official depositories, Citizen State Bank of Waverly, Klein Bank, Wells Fargo of Buffalo, Pearl River State Bank, State Bank of Delano, Elk River State Bank, LMC 4M Fund, and Northman Security. Our official newspaper, Wright County Journal Press, and Parks and Recs, the city meetings are at the bottom. Anything else on that one? The one change will be the finance committee. When do you guys want to meet?
Doesn't matter to me.
We normally, in the past, we've just met quarterly at 9 o'clock on the fourth Thursday of the month. I don't know what works for you. We'll have to let you know. That works. It's about a half hour. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So you won't begin until March.
Would you follow up with the way you reference that time as well? Are there any other discussion in reference to the appointments?
Hold on.
Yep.
We have Jill only as alternates of everything, except for the one personnel committee. Everything has a head of one of them. I mean, she's on personnel committee, but everything else is an alternate, so.
Why don't we,
attendance.
you want to flip flop Montrose days?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine, yeah.
I have Melissa as alternate and Jill as primary.
No problem.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thanks for catching that. We're trying to slice it, Jill. And Wendy, would you follow up and push that back out? And if there's any dates that need to be disseminated, would you do so with that? Okay.
So you just need a motion to approve your appointments.
Greg, just a question.
Uh-huh.
I believe you appointed Jill to be fire department liaison. Is that potentially a conflict of interest?
I have her as an alternate, that's the reason I put myself as a primary. The reason that I wanted her on there as well, she's got some insight as to what the operations of the fire department as well, by virtue of being a spousal
Correct,
person
but
that's
that's,
tied to it.
that's the
So-
conflict, that would be the conflict.
But, yeah, but that's, I understand that, however, I put myself as primary and I plan to be there, and I put her as an alternate, just in case we may have issues where I can't be there. Does that work?
Drew, they're not a voting member or anything. They just
Oh,
go as a liaison to bring back
We just,
information.
we sit there and eat chili usually.
They bring cookies, I know you like cookies.
No, they didn't have cookies, they did have chili. obligated to provide a meal or something. I never know, I don't know how that's gonna go, but I think Kevin's probably got dibs on that somehow. Okay, any other discussions on appointments? Is there a motion to approve the appointments as read?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointments for 2015.
I'll second.
Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries 4-0. The appointments as read. With the amendment of Jill to a primary. No. Montrose Estates Committee. Now we're moving to employment for a temp and engaging an employment agency to search for a temp.
I will make a motion to approve Wendy and Sean to move forward. I'm working with Spartan to get a temporary employee in place.
I'll second that.
Okay, Melissa?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries to have Wendy and Sean proceed with hiring the temporary through Spartan to assist with filling and learn those jobs as we see fit in the administrative section of the office.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. "2015 Leadership Conference."
Put this in for information only. The newly elected conference, well, the newly elected and the experienced officials are the same days. They're both January 30th and 31st. Anybody that wants to go, just let me know that, I know you three are going. So I will register you three for the newly elected officials conference. I don't know, Michelle, if you're interested in the experienced officials or not.
Oh, okay. Back to, when do we need to know? What's the deadline?
I'm not sure if there's a
I'll let you know by
deadline.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If you're gonna go though, and you plan on staying, you'll need to make your own reservations at the hotel. I put that information, I just wrote it on here, the Embassy Suites.
I understand. Make sure after that on the Friday night,
So,
so you guys planning on staying over at the hotel? Okay.
So you can, just if you're going to stay, just make your own reservations and then bring in your receipt to the city. The city will reimburse you for your.
Yeah, I will say over since there is a mayor in St. Paul the following day.
So I will register the three new ones and then let me know for those.
Yep. LMCAT.
We are insured through the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. And normally each year we get a dividend back at the end of the year, once they've gone through all of their information. And this is just information only, just to let you know that the city did receive a dividend this year in the amount of $6,786.
Are there any other items of new business we need to discuss this evening? Any open forum items? Good. Acknowledgements.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to acknowledge one of our employees in the Public Works Department, Jason Hilgers, as of January 1st, with 7 years of service.
Appreciate that. Any others?
Once I listed Jason Chafin's Kevin had asked me to put Jason down for his 3.5 years of service as a fire chief,
Absolutely.
and Willie Bauerschmidt for 20 years of
20 years service as the
president of the.
president of the Firemen's Relief Association. Duly noted. Any other acknowledgements?
I would like to acknowledge Kevin for stepping up, start 2015 and already saving the fire department some money. Sean and Wendy were going ahead and looking into saving the city $170,000 in the bond that they were going to be paying on. That's it.
I'd like to thank the new members of the council, Jill and Alyssa. I appreciate your stepping up and being here and taking charge of city business. And welcome to it. I hope we're going to do good things for the city, so I look forward to it. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
What am I coming in? Jill,
Aye.
Alyssa,
Aye.
Michelle. I vote aye. We're adjourned at 8:25. We do have pictures later on.
Or,